This is Little Bradley here. We're actually doing a different type of video. I'm actually like filling out if I'm going to do the intro now. Trinity's been doing great, but I think just reading back a lot of your comments, you guys were really looking for me to kind of do the intro and kind of take more ownership here in the channel, and so that's what we decided.
Nobody ever said that.
So Trinity deletes those comments because she just doesn't want people to notice, but it's okay. Yeah, so if you're new here, hold on.
No, lower the thing.
If you're new here,
get up.
If you're new,
get up.
Let's get into the video.
So what's the difference between his intro and my intro? They both
hers will rehearse more. She rehearsed hers a little bit more, but y'all don't see all the takes, so.
Ain't nothing rehearsed, because y'all know how I sound. I be sounding a little confused. But anyways, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in to me and my husband.
20?
Exactly. You see how it's not rehearsed? Anyways, let's just jump into this video. So if you clicked on this video, you know what we're talking about today. We're talking about our labor and delivery story. Now, I've already showed the labor and delivery vlog. This time, we're adding our story with a few little clips in between. So I don't know, we might show it at the end or wherever I can fit it in. We'll show those extra videos that we both capture on our phones. But let's get into the story. So, as you guys saw, it was a very interesting day because Trey and I, what y'all don't know about, the day before.
So hold on. Let me qualify this before we kind of get into it.
What does qualify this even mean?
It means I'm gonna give them the background before you just throw them into the story. Everybody's heard that there's a few things that you can do that'll help induce labor. Spicy foods, whatever you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
But for us, it was a walk, and we needed to walk anyway. But I'll just go ahead and tell this part. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna tag. Can you tag me in?
Anyways, go ahead. Just go ahead.
Okay. Can you tag it though? Okay. So, the day before, we woke up, and I was like, you know what? Today is the day. Like it's the 8th. My birthday's tomorrow. No, this was the 7th.
This was the 7th.
The 7th. Okay, my birthday's coming up. Like, I got a couple days. How can I get this baby to come on my birthday? That was my thought process. So I'm thinking, all right. So I'm looking up how we can figure out how to like help induce the labor. So I was like, you know what? We need to go on a walk. Like, that's what we got to do. So I told Trinity, like, yo, put your clothes on. We're going on a walk. Like, I don't want to hear it. Put your clothes on. We're going. So we probably ate breakfast, and then we threw our clothes on.
We got Nyla dressed. She was knocked.
Oh yeah, and you did it. Yeah, so we brought Nyla. She just woke up, but it was time for a walk. Doesn't matter about any other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we just got a new stroller that we were testing out and everything, so it was cool. But we live in like a development. So yeah. It's like a big circle. A lot of people walk. It's just what people do. So that's what we were going to do. So I was like, okay, let's map it out. Like we're going to walk down this way, turn around, come back. And I was really kind of trying to gauge to see where, what she can do.
Oh my God. Okay, now he's being extra. We're not going to spend 30 minutes talking about the walk. But like he did say, we did want to walk, and I think it probably jump-started the labor. Because, I don't know, as soon as we started walking, I told him, like, my back is killing me. And it's not your actual, like, your back, it's like your lower back. And that's how I kind of knew something was wrong. Because my back hurts. Don't get me wrong, it hurts. During pregnancy and not during pregnancy, my back is always hurting because I was a base for cheerleading and I always threw people up, and I probably messed up my back. So my back's always hurting. So during the walk, my back was just, it was like excruciating pain. And I was like stopping. And I don't really stop when I walk, like ever. I'm not out of shape. But I was telling Trey, like, I literally am in so much pain, like, I can't even breathe right now, like, it's hurting. And so he's just like, okay, like, do we need to stop? And I was like, no, like, let's just get through it. But I didn't know he was making us walk the entire neighborhood. Like, it might be a development, but the neighborhood is freaking huge. Okay? So we walked the entire neighborhood, and I was like, you know what, something's wrong. And I don't even know what I did when I got back to help with my back. I probably like asked for a massage or whatever.
Yeah, took a shower or something, hot water.
Something, because my back was in pain, and so I figured something was wrong. And that's what we're going to talk about. And we're going to leave it right there because I know this video is already really
Let me just finish what I
long.
was saying about the walk.
Go ahead.
So, no, I'm just playing. So we got back here, and I thought that it was a pretty straightforward the rest of the day. Was that the day we went out to dinner?
Yeah, we went out to dinner for Trey, like a surprise little dinner, just to celebrate his birthday, which is like 2 days away, so he didn't expect it coming. And it was really great. Like, it was really, really nice. That night we had like unlimited, I think we went to Applebee's, right? So they had like a limited meal and it was kind of like unlimited nasty, but I didn't order it. But I had a taste of their stuff and it was just not what the commercial looked
As
like.
advertised.
Yeah, but you know, it was fun. But then getting into the labor story. So the next morning, like, I woke up. I think we got back and we put Nyla down to sleep. And me and Trey went to bed maybe around midnight, okay? Because I remember telling him happy birthday and maybe closer to 1.
It wasn't my birthday. This was the 8th.
Oh, yeah.
So we went to
3
bed.
hours later, though.
Yeah.
3 hours later, though. I woke up. Trey was still asleep. So I got on Instagram like, I can't believe I'm up, da-da-da-da. All this stuff. And so I just started like looking at quotes. Probably I was reading things and then I couldn't go back to sleep. So I'm up at 4 and then next thing I look at the clock, it's 6:30. Then I look again, it's like 7. And by 7:30, my stomach started to hurt. And I was like, oh man, I think I'm having like cramps, or maybe it's like gas, because when it's gas and you're pregnant, it starts turning to like an acid filling and it's burning, right? So I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's that. So I was like, this doesn't really feel like that by 8 o'clock. So by 8 o'clock, I'm like, Trey, like, yeah, you gotta get up. And he's like still asleep. He doesn't really wake up early. And I'm just sitting here like, can you just hold me? Because I don't know what's going on. I think it might have Braxton Hicks, but I think it might be contractions at this point. But I don't know because my water didn't break. And so the first time we got pregnant and we had our baby, we were induced. So I never had my water break then. So this time my water didn't break, but I'm having contractions.
Right, and so I was like, okay, cool. Like, it's game time. How long has it been going on?
Yeah, I don't know if he said game time.
It's just that was in my mind. But is what I was thinking. But I said, how long has this been going on? And she's like, maybe an hour. So, you're supposed to time the contractions, see how far apart they are. And if they're a certain distance apart, then you call the doctor or whatever. So I timed her for about an hour and a half. Just when her contractions started, when they stopped, when the next one started, when it stops.
Mm-hmm.
Just so when we talk to the doctor, we can say, hey, she's been having contractions for at least 2.5 hours. They're this far apart.
Yeah. And so during that, I'm really going through it. I'm like, oh, yeah, these are really contractions. And so they were really close. And I was scared because I was like, I know when they say it's supposed to be like 5 or 3 minutes apart, you have to go to the hospital. And I was like, this has only been like going on for 30 minutes. Unless I was in labor during sleep, but that's impossible because I've been up to 4, As soon as we found out, the nurse, Trey called the nurse, and I was, as soon as we found out, I was like, Trey, just call a nurse. Like, I don't want to be sitting home, but I also know that I'm in labor because it's too close. So he called the nurse, and he was like, yeah, like, my wife is, we think she's in labor, but we don't know if we should go to the hospital. And she was like, well, what's going on? He was like, well, she's having contractions, and they're like 5 to 3 minutes apart, and she already lost her mucus plug. And the nurse, as soon as he said that, was like, get to the hospital now. He was like, well, her water didn't break, because that's what I was saying in the background. She was like, it doesn't matter. She needs to get to the hospital now. And I'm like, yeah, like, the urgency in her voice is freaking me out. And so when I was vlogging, you guys, I didn't see, I was like, oh my God. Because she was like, some women, it doesn't matter about if their water breaks or not. Because that's not an actual labor sign. It is. But like, people have their babies without water breaking all the time. So now I'm like, great, I'm going to have the baby in the car. You know, we're not licensed. We don't know what's going to happen. So I was really just freaking out in my head. But then...
Yep, so we got in the car. Oh, we called Trinity's mom. Hey,
didn't answer.
Hey, who do we end up talking to?
My dad. We called my mom like 4 times. We called my brother 2 times.
Nobody was answering. Bottom line, we got a hold of Trinity's mom, and I said, hey, we need to drop Nyla off. We got to go into the hospital. So took her, dropped her off, and all this happened within like an hour.
Yeah.
An hour and a half. Dropped her off, which was on the way to the hospital. Was able to go straight to the hospital. We didn't take a tour of the hospital like we did in Virginia. So it was, we didn't know where to go. I didn't even know where to park, like how the whole situation was working, but I followed the signs and whatever. So we ended up getting checked in and, filling out some paperwork, asking some questions. So we ended up asking some questions, and basically they took us to this room. It's called like a triage or something like that, where it's kind of like your pre-screening, because a lot of people will come into the hospital and they get sent back home because they're not really in labor.
Right.
It was just a scare, or they thought that it was something. So they have this like small little room where they check you and kind of see what's going on.
And we didn't know. I didn't know. So I'm like, where are we at? I said, Trey, these rooms are tiny.
I thought that was the room. And I'm thinking, dang, they just let you come in here. Like, they don't even barely check you in. Like, it was right at the door.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, dang, you must have had a baby right here, and then they send you home.
Yeah, but I knew. I was like, there's no way, like, I'm giving labor in this room, because the room was like a bathroom. Like, it was so small. And so they were like, yeah, can you give it like a urine sample? Like, they're acting like this is a doctor visit.
Yeah.
So I was like prepared. I was like, great. Like, if I go home, I gotta deal with these contractions, and they are like a 7.
Right. And so they were like, yeah, like, we gotta check you, see where you're at. Then we'll kind of go from there. So bottom line is they checked Trinity, and she
checked me quick.
She was 5 centimeters when we got there. So off the rip, she was 5 centimeters, which was a shock to me and Trinity, because with Nyla, Trinity was like half a centimeter for like 30 hours.
Right.
Or 20 hours. In the last like 6, it all just happened. But so they had to check in with the doctor and see if they were even gonna keep us or not. But once they said 5 centimeters, we pretty much knew we were staying.
She was like, yeah, you're being admitted. I was like, okay. When she said 5 centimeters, really, I freaked out, because I was like, okay, it hasn't even been 2 hours. Mm-hmm. Like, that, at this point, I was like, okay, she's coming not on his birthday, because how am I 5 centimeters? I only have to get to 10. You feel me? Like, so I was just like, Trey, like, she could have came if we would have just, waited and prolonged it, because, like I said, I've never been this close. The first time it was induced, so, like, it was completely different, and I was in labor for 26 hours. It's only been not even 3 hours, and I'm 5 centimeters. So me and Trey were just like, What?
Yes, it all happened very quick. So they ended up moving us to a room which was way bigger. That was the room you guys saw in the last video. Way bigger, a lot more cozy, where we can kind of get comfortable and that's where we were going to have the baby.
After we got admitted, this is like what he keeps forgetting, and this is like the funny part of our labor and delivery. We got admitted and they moved us to the big room where you saw like I was having contractions, and then you saw the nurses in the background. So the entire time I'm just thinking about the epidural, because like the closer you get to 10 centimeters, the harder and stronger the contractions are. So like I'm getting hot, I can't breathe. Trey's trying to get me like watered down paper towels, and then here comes the nurse, right? So thankfully, like, it was helping, but I was so hot that it's like he put freezing cold water on me. I was so hot, it got hot in like 2 seconds. So I'm like, I need more, like I was just like, I'm hot. And I'm looking at these people like, y'all ain't hot. And Trey's like, I'm not hot, I'm fine. So I'm getting mad because it's like, I'm the only one who's like freaking out. I'm hot. I'm pissed because I can't breathe. The contractions are hurting. And, I look calm and collected, but inside I'm just like, ooh, I'm just mad. But it gets worse. Okay, so Trey, Lord love him. He's a great husband. But he didn't have to deal with what I was dealing with. So he's like a kind of an invincible little man. And I don't like needles, okay? So we have 2 nurses, okay? I always ask like, hey, how long have y'all been in nursing, or how long have you been, at this practice? And some of them would say, oh, it's been 18 years,
yeah,
8 years. But the one who is helping me says, oh, I just transferred from, what?
She was in the emergency unit, and she used to deal with like people that are really sick, seizures, and like heart attacks. Like
she's coming from health and wellness. So I was like, oh, like you just transferred, and she was like, yeah, it's great. And I was like, oh, here we go. So they were like, hey, we have to draw your blood, and I'm like, why? Because I just want the epidural. And they were like, we have to make sure that you have enough platelets so you don't get blood clotting and it just doesn't get worse. Because if you don't have enough red blood cells, then you can't get the epidural. So I was like, you know what, just take my blood, I don't care. She comes over here, right? And they have to stick it in your hand. So she goes to my right hand and she's like looking hard and she's looking for the veins and she's like, oh, it might be a little tricky. I was like, what do you mean? Like, I'm seeing my veins are green. Okay, you could see them popping out. So she puts it in, right? And I hate needles, so it's already hurting, it's burning, right? And she's like, something's not right. And I'm like, what's going on? So she was like, okay, I think this is a bad side, so let's just go to your left side. So she went to my left side and she patched my right hand up. And she's trying to look where to stick me. And she sticks me in my wrist. And she was like, nothing's coming out of here either. Nothing's coming out of here either. And so now I'm getting pissed because I got stuck twice with like these long needles. So she sticks me the 3rd time. And she's trying to get blood, right? Now she put the tube in. And she's like, man, I think your veins are rolling. Right?
Yeah, but she said it. First off, Trinity might have had a contraction in between some of those, so she might have not remembered. She got pricked in her right hand like 3 times. Because at first, she was like, oh, your veins are being stingy. Your veins are being stingy. And I'm looking at her like, what? And I already know Trinity doesn't like needles, so I'm like, all right. So then she was like moving it around. Like it wasn't just like.
That was the left hand though.
Yeah, that was, she doing it right too. And then she went over to the left. She tried the left and then couldn't get anything. Talking about your veins are rolling around, and then asked
my veins are rolling. Yeah, when she said that,
that happens. I mean, it happens. But
I was angry.
But Trinity already been pricked 3 times, and they've been wiggling the needle around. So then the other lady comes over. She pricks Trinity. She's wiggling around. Yeah, you just gotta get it in
And it's
there.
not wiggling. They're like digging around, and so
Trying to find the vein.
it's now I'm in worse pain. So out of the contractions, now they're digging with a long needle in my hand, my arm. I mean,
So then they were like, oh, it's probably the valve. It's a bad valve. So they swapped the valve out because the blood was coming, but it was kind
I
of
wasn't
like,
really scoring.
yeah, it wasn't really
fast.
coming like it needed to. So they switched the valve out, and then the blood started coming, and so they filled up all. They finally found the right position, and they filled up like 3 or 4 containers of blood. And then the experienced nurse goes back to the computer and she looks and she's like, you know what? We don't need blood actually at all. And I looked at Trinity
Trey started laughing.
and I busted out laughing because they did all of that and they didn't need the blood enough anyway. Like they didn't need it. She was
They
like, oh,
did
we
it.
didn't even need it.
It took 30 minutes, and they did all that.
Didn't even need the blood. So, because of Trinity's blood type. So, they ended up okay in the epidural. We had to wait a little bit for the doctor to come in to do the epidural, which was the next thing because now that Trinity's like 8 centimeters at this point, like she's almost pretty much full ready to go.
Right.
And so the doctor comes in and he's put his gloves on and he's washing his hands or whatever. And he was like, hey, like, what's your name? Okay, what are you here for? Okay, what am I going to do today?
And he's doing this while I'm having contractions.
He's asking so many preliminary questions, which I get. Like, okay, I get it. Like, that's cool. They made me sit down. They had dads have been passing out when they see their wives get epidural. So I had to like instead of watching, they sat me in front of Trinity in like a chair. I'm not allowed to stand or anything.
Yeah, I can't believe they said that. I was like, what?
So he's just asking Trinity just a bunch of questions. What's today's date? Okay, well, what's going on? And he would be like, well, are you having a contraction? And she would say, yeah. And he'd be like, okay, I'll wait. And it would be like 30 seconds or however long, a minute or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your name? And then he would walk around to the back. He was like, I'm going to just walk through everything. Trinity was pissed because I knew she just wanted the epidural. She'd done this before. She really didn't care about all the little, oh, well, okay, well.
Because at this point, you're in so much pain. You don't care about the what's going to happen after I get the epidural. I don't care. I want to be high as a kite because the pain I'm feeling right now. I was literally there the entire time. They're encouraging me. They're like, you're doing great. You're doing great. And Trey's doing an awesome job. He's like, you're doing great. Like, and it felt good to hear that. But I'm looking around at all these happy faces and I'm in pain. So I was like, I hate all y'all. Just shut up and give me the epidural, And to have like now this man who never has endured an epidural, doesn't know the pain I'm going through, to keep pausing just so I can get through a contraction, and I'm trying to get to the epidural. I looked at Trey, I thought I was rolling my eyes, and I probably didn't, but I was angry. At this time, I was really angry, and so he kept talking for like 20 more minutes. I'm not gonna lie.
He was talking for a while. So bottom line is, by the time Trinity actually got the epidural and they checked her, she was fully dilated. So that's how long he was talking. And would take little seconds to wait. And then it was weird because the first time she got an epidural, it was super easy. Like she got the epidural and
I got it like at 2 centimeters.
Yeah, right. And so cool. So she got it and she felt it and she felt good. This time she got the epidural and it was like 15 minutes. She's like, I still feel these contractions.
And they were like, oh, did he stick you in the wrong spot? I mean, now they're trying to blame the anesthesian or whatever he's called.
Anesthesiologist, is that right?
I don't know. Now they're trying to blame him. Oh, he might have to come stick you again. I said, no. Like, because at this point, I'm done. I'm feeling everything. And they're like, oh, well, that shouldn't be happening. And I was like, you know what? I should have asked him how long he's been doing this because everything was just very interesting, this time around. And so I'm sitting here and they're like, well, why don't you turn to your side? Because sometimes if you turn to your side, then
Well, that's because it was only on your left side. You said your left leg was numb and your right leg wasn't.
Yeah, so turn to your side and then the numbness can go off because, it's all about the position you're at. I said, okay, fine. I already knew that because, like I said, we've been through this before. And so The first time I got the needle stuck in me twice, with the epidural. So that was nowhere compared to this, which was good. So, long story short, because the little girl's probably gonna wake up. But,
just so you guys know, she looks just like me.
anyways, so let's get back to the story. So what ended up happening was, I finally got it, and as soon as like the numbness actually full throttle worked, and not just worked and I couldn't feel a thing, I still felt stuff, but it wasn't as bad as it was, honestly. So I was just grateful. But as soon as it kicked in, they were like, okay, are you ready to push? I said, what do you mean? So I'm looking at Trey, now I'm even more mad. Like, I just waited to get this epidural, and now, like, as soon as it works, you telling me it's time to push? So basically, you guys, I went through this whole labor natural, and I wasn't trying to do that, honestly. I know there are mothers who do that. Good for y'all. But I can't, right? But I did. Not by my own works.
And remember, by this time, it's been maybe 3.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still early. Like, everything's still happening. It probably...
You got to the hospital like what, 11:30? It's 2 o'clock, yeah. 2:30.
It was like 2:45, 2:55 by the time she actually was like, oh, I feel numb, because they were waiting for the epidural to really kick in before we started pushing, because she was already dilated.
Yeah, and they had to manually pop my water, so they wanted to wait so I didn't have to feel that. So yeah, we waited, and literally as soon as they popped it, they're like, yeah, this is time to push.
Yep, she's right here.
And I was like,
all right,
okay. So we were happy, and what ended up happening, she didn't come out in one push like Nyla did. She came out in 3. But that was still great. I didn't tear, which was a blessing. And they were surprised because she was 7 pounds.
Yeah.
And I was like, God just keeps helping me, because he knows I don't want to deal with stitches or needles, more needles. And so it was good. I was happy she came, and other than just everything happening so fast, and it just seemed so surreal. The first time we were just so worried, we didn't know what to expect. This time we're like, we're pros.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't as daunting, other than speeding to the hospital, not really knowing the condition of the baby or what my body's doing. It was good. And so literally right after she was born, we had skin to skin, breastfed, and then we got moved to the mommy and me, to where you're there for 2 days to recover. And I don't know, it wasn't as crazy as the first time, because the first hospital and labor delivery, they gave you everything. This time it was like,
man, they were cheap. They were cheap. The first hospital, it was you and your guests get to eat for free, dessert,
he's sick about that.
Whatever you want. So for me it was like vacation. Like,
he didn't want to leave the hospital.
Like, it was cool. And then 2 days,
and it was free parking,
free parking, everything. We went to this hospital, man. I remember we had a tour in Virginia, so we already kind of knew what to expect.
And we did the pregnancy classes, so everything was just
it was cohesive. With this, we were just kind of like, all right, whatever, we've done this before. Well, let's just get us to the delivery room. So I'm sitting there, it's time to eat or whatever, and I didn't even know how to order, right? Because they give you a menu and they don't really tell you what you can get, but they're like, oh, if she just had a baby and she can get whatever.
Yeah.
So I called and I ordered Trinity one thing.
He ordered me one thing, literally.
I didn't get her no sides. I didn't even know if I got her a drink.
I was so mad at Trey. I was like, what kind of meal is this?
Yeah, it was trash. But so then I ordered mine. I said, yeah, so I'm gonna take this. Just assume me that every Every hospital is the same. Man, that lady said, okay, yeah, it'll be $10. You gonna pay? You want to pay? Can you come down real quick to pay? I said, pay? What you talking about? I said, yeah. I said, this is for the guests. Yeah, she said, yeah, I know. Can you just run down here and pay real quick? I was like, shoot, all right, yeah, I'm on the way. So I ended up running downstairs, paid for my food. I ended up grabbing a few extra things. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna pay for this joint. Like, man, let me go ahead and get this too. So I went and swiped for it.
Hey guys, this is the first day.
And I was like, dang, I said, we can't be. And we need breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I said,
God, and you have to be there for 2 days.
I said, man, this is trash. But it ended up working out. The food was okay. I'll tell you what though. So they had a daytime menu and they had a nighttime menu. Mm-hmm. Now the nighttime kicked off. The cafe will close at 7 and then reopen at 10. Mm-hmm. At a 10 o'clock menu, steaks, lobsters, chicken and waffle. It was everything that you probably wanted the first half of the day.
Yeah.
But it's like the late night menu, burgers and
good.
Sauteed this and salmon, whatever you want. So I was like, man, Trinity, the night menu almost the best thing. You might as well wait all day and just eat that.
He wouldn't have done that. But it was good. It was so good. But this time, like, I don't know, and it's nothing against nurses and doctors, but I feel like some of the people here, they just didn't know what they were talking about. They just know protocol, procedure, what they know, what they learned. Because my first daughter, she had jaundice, and we know what that looked like. And they tried to say, oh, well, your daughter, Leia, has jaundice. And I was like, no, she doesn't. She's not even yellow.
She wasn't yellow at all.
She was like, oh, well, according to this, she is. And so me and the nurse kind of got into it when Trey left to go get my food at the late night because she was trying to tell me, like, my daughter has to get pricked and get her blood drawn. And if I get it before 10, she has to come back at 4. I said, no, we're not doing that. She was like, well, she has to get tested for Down syndrome and all this other stuff. I said, what you're not going to do is you're not going to put fear into me. She's not getting tested. Okay, she's perfect the way she is. And so she kind of got bad and just left and came back with this paperwork because it's like the law in Georgia or whatever. So she came back and I was like, you know what, just do whatever you need to do because I don't want to hinder my child, period. Like, if I need to know she has high belly Reuben or whatever, that's what I need to know. Just go ahead, draw her blood. So they drawed her blood after 10, so she had to come back at 4. And everything was fine. And she was tested for all the different type of syndromes and different type of, I don't even know what to call them, if it's a disorder or whatever.
Disorder.
All that, and she was fine. And she tested her. And the first time she hit her with the little ray light or whatever, she was like 8.6, high risk, all this stuff.
8.6. Talk about
when they came back,
it's not accurate. Well, it's not, because I said she's 8.6, then why do you need to prick her?
Right.
Oh, well, it's not an accurate test. It's just a ballpark. She could be lower. She could be higher. She's clearly not yellow, so we know that she's not.
And her eyes would be yellow, and she's not.
Nyla was at 8.6. Nyla was like an 11. But, we were able to get that taken care of.
And what was it?
She came back after they pricked her, after this whole big thing about we need to prick her and test her. She came back and said, oh, yeah, well, she's a 5.1.
I said, what? And she just left quick.
And she walked out because she knew. We already knew she wasn't jaundiced.
And she tried to argue, but it was just like that. It's completely off.
Then she went and tried to get us little snacks and stuff, trying to be.
Yeah, she did.
Do y'all want something to eat? Do y'all need anything else? And she ran because the late night thing ended up closing, so. Or it was opening later than it was supposed to, and Trinity hadn't eaten in a while. So, I could get you some snacks and stuff. Trinity was like, yeah, she's just a little, feels the type of way because she had to prick her, and she came back at 1.5. So
5.1.
I mean, a 5.1.
Yeah. So this labor and delivery was just very interesting, like all around, because like I said, it was a good hospital, or so I thought, but they just didn't give you as much. And like Trey said, like they're cheap. They weren't trying to spare expenses. The only thing that I did enjoy was they didn't come in every 5 seconds, like my last hospital did. Like I was able to get rest, kind of. And so that was the only benefit really. And I think pretty much that was it. Like when we recovered, we were up and out. We didn't stay there at all.
No, I was ready. I said, yo, is there anything
Especially
else we need
paying
to
for everything. And then we had to pay for parking.
do? Come on, I said, is there anything else we need to do? Oh yeah, we just gotta wait. Man, we packed that place up so quick. Like I was ready to get out of there, get home, but not even now. Like we hadn't seen Nyla in a couple days.
Right, I didn't see my baby.
She was with
My parents.
So it was just, we were just trying to get back to our family.
Yeah. So pretty much that was our labor and delivery story, what actually happened outside of the vlog that you guys couldn't see.
Are you going to add clips to this?
Yes. I'm adding the rest of the clips so you guys can see now what happened. And I hope you guys really enjoy it. I was doing this whole video sick, so if you guys are like, she sounds a little off, I can't breathe. So, hope you guys have enjoyed our labor and delivery story. Enjoy these next.
How you feeling?
Feeling good, actually, right now.
Gonna rub it all over her face and her mouth. It's not bad for her. It'll absorb over the next couple hours.
Hi. How you doing?
So we had the baby. We got moved into our second room. She's a little upset. She's really just sleeping.
We'll see you guys in the next video, and if you're not already subscribed, subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment what you hope to see next, and if you enjoyed this story, let us know. Bye. Guys.